Okay, now we have from Morocco, from southern Morocco, our Israeli colleague, Sydney Corcos.
Voilà.
He's now in Essoueira, Morocco. Okay. Sydney also is a very special guy. He comes from the elite aristocratic Corcos family who were the Sultan's merchants, the Moroccan Sultan merchants. Okay. He comes from hundreds of years of Essoueira leaders. It's a relatively new city. Okay. But he's connected to the Montefiore family. He's connected to the Afriat family. His relatives already went to England at the end of the 18th century. So Sydney's very active in Sephardic genealogy. We're waiting for his book to come out. Now, Sydney's aunt gave her house for a synagogue in Essoueira, which today, Essoueira today called Mogador before. The Jewish Mogador was under English influence. Okay, and that synagogue was made into a museum today. So Sydney, he's not just an activist or a Moroccan Jew, he's also has, I think, 2 degrees in museumology. So he curated from the beginning, I think in the last 4 years, this museum in Essoueira, and we'll see what he's going to prepare. He has a lot of things, but you'll get a taste of it. It's a very, of course, you know, it's the battle of the ethnographer against the people with the money. But I think he's made a contribution of putting a lot of content in this museum. Also, I want to cite that Asher Knaffel, who's from.
The number you called was busy. Please try again.
Asher Knaffel is an author who's written many exciting books. He's from Essoueira, from a rabbinic Knaffel family.
I don't know if you have anything constructive to say about my situation.
Wait, Avram, be on mute. And then there's David Ben Shushan, he was online. I don't know where he is now, in Montreal. Asher and Ben Shushan wrote a book about the wedding in Essoueira, in Mogador. Okay, and they're very active, and they put out a journal called Brit. I've written in it. Many of you have written in it. Okay, without any further ado, here is Sydney Corcos. Now, Avram, okay, we have the PowerPoint. Okay, Sydney, go ahead.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm sorry, it's everything is improvised. Since I arrived 3 days ago to Morocco, and the whole this colloquium, if you want, was sudden for me. And also, I'm sorry I can't move myself the presentation, but I hope it will be done by you or someone else.
By Avram.
Anyway,
okay.
Avram is not
yeah.
here.
Can you open it?
Can you wait?
Can you open?
What's it? Netanya, can you do it?
Yes, of course.
Okay, Netanya will take over the technical control.
Can you open the first?
I will need you to send me the presentation, please.
Okay. Wait. Hold on. In the meantime, I'll try to.
Well, I can, I can begin to talk.
All right, Sydney, begin
in
to
the
talk.
meantime-
I'll try to send to Netanya the presentation.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't. I couldn't. With the Wi-Fi here in Morocco, it's quite complicated. I couldn't contact with my computer. Anyway, well, you talked about my family, but you asked me more to talk, about the project we have done here in Morocco the last 5 years, let's say. We have built, if you want, a Jewish museum, and we have restored a Sephardic synagogue in the city of Essoueira called Mogador. If you can see the presentation now, I show you exactly where is it on the map.
Control your dog.
But we have dog instead.
Come here, come here, come here. Come on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Come on, Piper. Piper. Come here.
All right, Netanya, I found it. I'm gonna,
Piper. Come on, girl. Over here.
But it's hot. I have sent to you the
yeah,
presentation.
hold on. I'm gonna send it to Netanya. Don't worry. I had to find it.
Why?
Oy, oy, oy.
Can't you do it yourself?
In the in the meantime, you can tell us what do you think about the direct traveling from Israel to Morocco.
Okay. Okay.
It's
So
all
I took,
over the news.
yeah. So I took 3 days ago the first flight because the last 5 years I was traveling from Israel to Morocco for the project. You know, every few months, and I stayed here in Morocco 1 or 2 months, and then back and forth and back and forth. Once from Paris, once from I don't know, from Italy, once from Turkey, once from, and it was really very long voyage, very tiring.
What? What are you trying to? What? Me helping you?
But now,
And
how much time it was? Like
And
half
suddenly
an hour.
we have this, and suddenly 3 days ago we have this
You go.
direct flight with El Al and from Israel by took El Al, and it was about 5.5 hours. It was an amazing and fantastic flight directly from Tel Aviv to Marrakesh. And the Moroccan received us as the, you know, as kings, if you want. They were waiting for us with, you know, with music and with the tea and
Absolutely
and a lot
not.
of media, and it was just amazing. And of course,
I will make it in the first.
Hey,
too much
Netanya, you have the
noise.
PowerPoint?
Yes, I have it. You can see
Okay.
it.
Okay, now can you move it? Can you start moving it?
You see it? This
Yeah.
is the first one. Okay, begin.
No, I don't see it.
All right,
Ask
whatever.
Avram to stop sharing his screen.
I heard you got to stay in bed really a lot longer. You didn't get up at 6 in the morning, did you? Oh, sorry. Sorry.
All right, wait, Sydney, just talk. Netanya will move the screens.
Well,
So do you want me to start the
I
PowerPoint?
think we turn those other
If
ones.
you
Yes.
can, whatever, Netanya has it all.
It's amazing.
Avram,
Yes,
stop
Okay,
sharing
you
your
can,
screen, please.
That's fantastic.
but Corcos, Sydney needs
I
the,
bought them another kind, you know, that if I could.
They couldn't chew through it, or these flat, totally dry people. Huh?
Who's talking? Mute yourself, whoever you are.
We tried
All right.
with both of them. They
All
both
right,
took it and
somebody,
they both-
one of you, Netanya or Avram, move,
Avram, please move it.
move Sydney's screen.
I take instructions only
Oh,
from this side.
terrible.
Okay,
This
I'm
doesn't want me to do
All
my
right,
job,
no,
I'm
no,
happy not to
Avram.
do it.
All right, Avram, move Sydney's screen. Go to the next thing. Sydney can't see because he's on his phone
The
from Morocco.
audacity of
Okay?
some people.
Okay. So what slide does he want me at?
You see what's
no.
happening here?
Okay,
Yes, okay.
okay.
You see what's happening?
No, the
Sydney.
first,
What's going on?
So what's?
Mogador in 1955.
no, but
You know,
why
it's all
he
new
don't
thing
open
about
the
this.
PowerPoint?
He's doing, it's like 2-3 people
Sydney, it's
doing it
open.
together or something like that. Yeah, I told him, I mean, I'm not really.
I don't know.
Yoga Maya, be quiet.
So anyway, the PowerPoint is not that is have to be seen. Anyway, we see here the port of Mogador or Essoueira. It was if you want, a Jewish town. There was half of the population was Jewish. From the 24,000, there were 12,000 Jews in the city. So it was really, and the influence of the Jews was very, very important because they were merchants. And as you mentioned, Yitzhak, they were what we called merchant of the king, and they were working in the port, and they have initiated the trade between Morocco and Europe, mainly with England, and later with France. Okay, so you can see here in the Atlantic Ocean. No, to the map, please.
Go up. All right, okay, thank you.
You could see on the map where is situated here Essoueira or Mogador. Mogador is the name of in the time of the French, and then later it was called Essoueira. Anyway, you can see here many names here in the maps. All the point you see, all the villages and towns are all Jewish villages and Jewish community all over Morocco. Morocco was full all over the country with Jewish community, from very small, some very few families to the biggest one in Casablanca, Marrakesh, and so on. Next, please. Next. So this is the port. We have seen it. So you can see it's a very small port, but it was the first. Yes, it's okay. It was the first port in Morocco in the 19th century. So the big ship could just come from ashore, and the merchandise were brought by to the port, because the ship could go into the small port. Anyway, you can see the map of the city. It was divided by the Kasbah, as you can see here, and the Mellah on the right. And so the Mellah was built much later in 1809, and the Kasbah was from the beginning in 1774, when the first 10 families came to by the order of the Sultan, open the trade. And so the Kasbah was the administrated, if you want, part of the city, and where the richest and the merchant lived. So in one time of the history, it was a kind of two communities, one of the Kasbah and one of the Mellah, but we have no time to go in it now. Please, next. Next.
Sydney's on the right.
Next. Next.
That's
Next
the cemetery.
slide, please.
The synagogue Sharei
slide.
Tfilah.
למה היא לא מעבירה?
היא מעבירה.
Oh, wait.
This is the synagogue of your family, okay, of the Afriats, right?
Wait. This is okay. This is a house, Riyadh. Okay, you went to Turkey anyway. It was a family, if you want, a family of Riyadh. Riyadh, it's this structures from the 16th century already in Morocco, and many Jews used to live in Mogador, and some in Marrakesh, but mainly in Mogador, in those very big structures, houses with an open sky in the middle. I show it later. And here you can see a little bit the work that have been done as it was before and then after the restoration. So next, please. So the project, next.
It's a project.
Wow.
You can see it because you want.
Well,
We're looking at the
Well.
architectural plan of the museum.
this is the architectural plan. This is the Riyadh. You can see the rooms are from in the middle. It's open to the sky, and then you have the rooms on the side, and on the right down. This is a synagogue. We'll see it in the middle. Next, please. Next. Okay, this is the structure. As the facade of structure. You can please next. Wow. Yeah. So initially it was the house was or the riad was only two stores, but we have added one store, and you can see on the right the room of the synagogue. You can see the big doors that this was meant to, because all the merchandise was also inside the house. So the camels could go inside from those doors and bring the goods into the warehouses that were down, and the living rooms were up. So next. So the project was, this is how we meant to make the, this was an illusion how we thought it should be restored. Next. But we found only ruins. Next, please. Next. Wow. So this is what we found. The house was completely destroyed. The roof fell down, and unfortunately, this amazing riad, who the aunt, my grand aunt, she lived here with her husband from the Atias family. They left already in the 20s, and they gave the house for the rabbinical court, who was here 40 years, and then they left the house, and this is what happened when you leave a house like this in Morocco or in Essoueira. It fell apart, and people are coming and robbing everything inside. This is what happened. Only the synagogue we could save, partly the synagogue, and I will show it next, please. I will show it next. Wow, I can't go.
The empty courtyard.
It was seen before the restoration. Please, next. Quicker.
It's
Wow.
because of your bandwidth that you can see when I pass the forward.
Next. You see, picture of the house as it was before, so you have an idea what kind of work we have to deal with. Next, please. Yes, next. So all the ceramic, the fantastic ceramic was robbed. So here, this is the beginning of the work. You see that a stone after stone had to be put, and here, this is the initiator of the project, Mr. Andre Azoulay, who is the king advisor, who initiated the project, and this is how the restoration began. As you can see, we used the same stones that were found on the ground, and we have restored the house as it was in the 19th century. Next, please.
That's the synagogue
Next.
as it was.
This is the riad as it was. Yes, please. Next.
Yeah.
This is how the synagogue was. So this synagogue was, as I said, a Sephardic synagogue. I mean, a copy of the Sephardic synagogue of Manchester, and even the Aron. And everything was brought from Manchester.
The
and
Ark.
in fact, it's a small scale. The Ark. and the teva and everything. It's a small scale of the Sephardic Portuguese synagogue of Manchester. Please next. Yes, this is how it was. And we found most of our menorot, as you can see here. We could save most of the menorot. Please, yes, this is how I found the synagogue in 2008, quite in a very bad shape, but we could save most of the furniture and most of the menorah, although many things were robbed, if you want. Next, please, next.
Natanya, mute your Zoom.
Yes. So this is how we found the synagogue. Next. Yes, this synagogue before the restoration. Next, and this is after the roof fall down also in the synagogue. But as I said, most of the things could be saved. And here it's the beginning of the work with the local workers that did a marvelous job. Next, a marvelous job. And we could restore, as you can see here, part were completely restored because it was destroyed. This is the Ezrat Nashim here. You can see, and down you can see already the synagogue already stood. Please next. Aron HaKodesh was originally, as you can see here, the Aritzpa.
The floor.
The floor is original from the 19th century, and it could be saved. And you can see it was cleaned and it was in a very, very good shape. Next, please. Next. Next. So you can see here the floor, original floor of the synagogue with the teva, with the Aaron, and here me with the workers, Muslim workers. Really, they have done, as I said, they worked with their hearts, and everything. This project was before the relation, the official relation between Israel and Morocco. It is 2016 and 17 and 18 we were. So it was before everything, and it's not the same situation as today. Please, next. But because the very good relation the king advisor had, in the city, and the good relation between Muslims and Jews in Essoueira, we could work together to make possible this project. Here you can see the work in the Riyadh advancing. Please next. Please next. Wow. Next. Working next. Working in process. Now the new floor. As you can see now, it's look much better, and this is almost done. Here you can see really the job, the very good job they have done. We took the best architect in Morocco who helped us in the project. Please next. This is how the Riyadh look. You can see it's open to the sky, but here we put, a kind of ceiling that can be opened, a kind of plexiglass to seal it, or to open it if you want when there is rain. Please next. We have added one floor, and up in the other floor, it will be in fact. Down will be art exhibitions, and up a kind of center how you call it, a research center about the relations of Arab and Jews in Morocco. Next, please. This was the door before. Next. Next. And this was the door after. So you can see completely new, completely, but the same. We use the same stones. We didn't touch, the stones. Only we clean everything, and it's the look is fantastic. Please next. Please next. Yes, the furniture, as I said, the benches, everything, most of them were okay, but we had to repair to make new benches. Please next. Next. The menorot we found were in a very, very bad shape. Everything was distorted and was, with rust and very rusty and everything. So we had the next, please. And we have to make, a very big work restoring the menorot, the original menorot from the 19th and the beginning of the 20th century that were in the synagogue. Please, next. Yes, next. Next. This is all what we found, and also the plaques, the plaques of people who have donated menorahs for the synagogue. Please, next. A little quicker. Yes. So this is the work in process, just to show you how was the process and to show you what kind of work we have to deal with. Please, next. This is the teiva, and this is me here hanging the menorot that were already restored and in a very, very good shape. And we found, artists in Morocco. There are a lot of artists that could done such work, and it was very amazing to find. And I tried to put the menorot here, the same place they as we saw it, as you saw them in the first picture, as the synagogue was before. So the synagogue was completely restored exactly as it was before. Yes. Please, next. Please, next. Yeah. So this is the synagogue almost ready with the benches and everything. Even yes, this is how it look today. And up you can see the Ezrat Nashim. Here, my family used to pray here, mainly the Afriat family. And this was a moment of emotion when I brought the Sefarim, the old Sefarim, that we could save 2 old Sefarim that almost was not robbed, and we could brought them again in the original Aron. Okay, this is you can go next please. So the initiator of the synagogue, in fact, was the woman of the house. Please, next. Her name was Yamima El-Kaim. This is me here and Mr. Azulay and the ambassador, German ambassador, who gave some money for the project. So I have to say that the project was the money. Most of the money came from the government, and this is amazing. That in an Arab country, here we are working in the archives, in the looking for documents. Amazing that in an Arab world, in an Arab country, as I said before, the relation, official relation, an Arab country, we are restoring and building a synagogue. It's amazing, and the museum, and this is the work. The team working in the house of Mr. Azulay. It was, a process of work, and this we had to design, to think what picture, what text, and what document to put in the document, and this is how it looks today. With in the entrance, you can see here 2 books a Quran and a Bible, just, you know, as a symbol of the relationship between Moroccan and Arab and Jews in Morocco. This is part of the pictures in museum. This picture is from my father. It's not me that decided to put the picture. My father was a historian, and they have decided to put his picture because he did a big job, you know, in the writing articles in the history of Morocco. This is part of the exhibition, as you can see. Next, please. Most of the, you know, artifacts in the museum are pictures and videos, and you know, the digital today, with digital you can show a lot of things. On the right here of the picture, you can see the picture of the woman that Itzhak mentioned, Stella Corcos, who she was British from the Montefiore family, so she was my great-grandmother. She opened the English school, the first English school in fact in Morocco and in all North Africa, and she saved thousands of girls, you know, from poverty, and she gave them education, and because the girls in that time couldn't do anything, there were no school and anything, they had to marry at 13 or 14 or 15. This was, and all their job was, you know, just work at home. But she did. She was, you know, a revolutionary woman in that time, and this is why the city, next piece, and this is why the city have called a street on her name in the city of Mogador. This is the whole team that we worked. A big team, but it was enough, you know, to make the job done, as you can see. And so the moment of truth and the moment of emotion was when the king himself came for the inauguration. Here we have the two rabbis. On the right, this is the rabbi, the chief rabbi of Morocco, and on the left is Rabbi Pinto, you know, from family was originated from Mogador. So it was really a big moment. Please, next. And this is why here the king in the inauguration ceremony, this is why the house is considered have a different dimension of consideration now in Morocco or in Essoueira. And after the project and the inauguration, they have decided to teach Jewish history in Morocco to the Moroccan, and never in the history of Morocco it was done before. This is me here with the king. It was also very emotional. I spoke to him a few words. I told him that my family were, you know, connected with his family, a royal family for 5 generations. And he told me, very nice, and we have to continue. This relation have to continue. So that's it about Itzhak wanted me to speak more also about the families, but, you know, I think it's enough. It's too late. It's another talk. This is only to show my grandfather here, my family here in Mogador, so you can see how they were dressed, you know, in the English style. And here, this is me here as a baby, and my father and grandfather. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Sydney. I had the privilege of interviewing and filming some of your aunts before they passed away in various places. And I wrote about your father in the Encyclopedia Judaica. And